we're gonna be talking about what I like to program for athletes that are struggling to get a push-up. And in order, we're gonna cover the 3 exercises I like to use mostly to progress my athletes to be able to do a full functional push-up. Now, I understand before anybody gets into it, just like everything else, you're gonna have your own opinions. There's thousands of other variations of exercises that work. These are the 3 profound that I find work the best in order to stabilize and progress athletes to do full functional push-up. I am a firm believer in a narrow grip push-up. I feel there's more stability. It teaches better mechanics down the road, especially once you start leaving body weight mechanics and moving into barbell presses. The very first progression that I like to have athletes do, guys, is the push-up hold, but it is going to help you maintain a stable and locked out start position. The big key takeaways from this position, guys, is full engagement throughout the body. You want to have especially the shoulders and the scapula engaged, right? You got to have the core. We're talking 360-degree radius core engagement, not just bracing the abs. Glutes, hamstrings, quads, everything's nice and sturdy and staying engaged the entire time throughout the movement. And you're going to keep everything at a very nice even plane, meaning our ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder will all be in a straight line, okay? There shouldn't be a dip in the knee or the butt arching up. Everything should maintain a straight line throughout the body to complete that exercise. Now, the second exercise I like to use for push-up progression, guys, is an elevated push-up. Now, have to be very careful when we talk about this, because people take this different ways, right? Some people take the elevated push-up as being with their feet elevated. That's not what we're going. We're going to have our hands elevated. We can do these on boxes, barbells, benches, anything that leaves us in an elevated position. Feet at the ground, head this way. Okay, now the start position's the same. Okay, we'll still stick with that narrow grip. Start position's the very same, very rigid and sound structural posture. Everything in a straight line, locked out and engaged throughout the movement. We never lose that engagement, right? All we're gonna do, guys, you're gonna start by bending the elbows and you're gonna slowly lower yourself down to wherever the top of that elevated position is, engaging with the arms. We're going to return back to the start position before doing any more repetitions. Again, think about our progression. We learned where the starting position was. We learned our stability and engagement through that push-up plank. Now we moved on to an elevated push-up. We're still maintaining that same posture, that same stableness throughout the movement. And the only difference is we're gonna add a mechanic in that allows us to continuously push and push back. Now you can change the elevation of the object you're using. You can go high to low, whatever you need to do. The lower you go, of course, the more difficulty will increase. I've even had athletes, we will start doing these on a straight wall where they're just barely leaning into them, guys. It's all about progression. We'll bring that down lower and lower and lower until moves us to the third progression I like to have our athletes do, which is the negative push-up. Everything that's applied through progression 1, through the push-up plank, through 2, doing the elevated push-ups. Now we're moving to a negative push-up. Same start position as the plank push-up we were doing, guys. What we're gonna do in this is we're going to be on the floor. The difference is we're gonna bend at the elbows again, and we're going to slowly, using a tempo, usually counting starting athletes off to 1 Mississippi, lowering themselves down to the floor, okay, as close as they can get. They're gonna hold for a split second, and that's it. So we're just going to lower down to the floor. I don't care during this progression how you get back up to the start position, whatever you need to do. Even if you gotta stand all the way up and go back down to the ground and start in the locked out position, that is fine, because this is progression, right? There's other tempo push-ups we can use later, but for progression purposes, the way I train athletes with this is teaching them 1 Mississippi, getting down to the ground, holding. If they wanna press back up, then they're beyond push-up progression. Now they're in advanced push-ups, right? But for progression athletes, it's not the lowering down, okay? It's usually the pressing back up. That's where the elevated push-up comes in. So we're just going to work on lowering down, holding, and I don't care if you arch to get back up, whatever you need to do, get back up to a sturdy sound position before doing another repetition. Now with this progression, what we begin to do is increase the time frame it takes an athlete to do a negative. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And we'll keep following and switching up these progressions and different variations of these progressions with said athlete until they can do the negative push-up and return back to the start position by keeping sound structural, good mechanics, braced and engaged the whole time. Now they're ready for regular push-ups and even further advanced push-ups. If you or any of your athletes in your gym are struggling with push-up, guys, I highly encourage you to start adding these into your programming. Just telling an athlete to do, oh, you can't do push-ups? I just do push-ups. I mean, in a world where somebody can already do push-ups, yeah, that makes sense. But if you're, trying to coach somebody that's never done a push-up in their life and a big goal of theirs is just to get a push-up, follow this progression, guys. I promise it'll help get you there. See you in the gym.